Retreat or defeat. Okay. This retreat, a lot of things came up. Secrets, don't really know about that. Pranks, yes. And a water balloon fight. Now, if you are new here, I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist who loves reality TV, relationships. I love dissecting, analyzing, and helping y'all learn about yourselves, how you show up in relationships, and how some of the people we see on screen really do represent different parts of ourselves. Okay, so I'm gonna need y'all to pull on up. It's gonna be a little bit of a long one. Put me in the background. Put me on while you're doing your laundry, while you're studying a little bit, doing some house chores, and we can do the things together with me in the background. Okay, me in the background. But make sure you hit that like, you subscribe, like the video, y'all. Like the video. Please like the video, join the community, become a subscriber, do all the do's. Now, the couples are getting closer and closer to decision day. We're about 21 days away, a little over 2 weeks from decision day. And some people's slips are showing, the facade, all of it, you only can hide and do the do of not being really seen for so long, especially being with somebody every single day. It's only so long you can pretend. Okay, so the couples are getting ready to go to Lake Travis, and Derek and Megan decide, let's prank some folks. Let's get some pranks going. Liven up the mood a little bit. Put a little cat sound over here. Put some fake toilet paper. Yeah, they doing a lot of pranks. Okay, doing a lot of pranks. And so everyone's getting acclimated. They choose rooms. Derek feels like Megan should get the biggest room because she's pregnant, needs to be comfortable. It's because you're bougie. Okay. You're uppity and you're bougie. And all these shows, or all these reality shows, when people go on these retreats, vacations, excursions, whoever gets there first, they always choose the biggest room. It's kind of like the unsaid rule. All these years I've been watching reality TV, is like whoever gets there first, we're going to choose the biggest room. And everyone after that, whoever comes in last, who's the last person to show up to the trip, you don't get the worst room. Unlike on some of the housewives nowadays, they assign rooms. Okay. But we know we're still getting this Love is Blind vibe from this show. We don't give it to you all at once. We're not doing those 6-month thing. We're not doing those 7-month thing. Here's what we got. Here's what y'all gonna get. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of things missing, but we're on the track of Love is Blind because the same company who does all the Love is Blind stuff, producers, production company, Kinetic Content, also now does Married at First Sight. So if you guys are watching and you wonder why it feels similar, because it is now. Some of y'all don't like that. Okay. But everyone's getting together. They're enjoying eating some barbecue. They're being fed by productions. Let's ask some questions. Will is the one at the center of asking the questions. How do you guys feel? When did you know you fell in love with Megan? When did you know you were in love with your partner? Yes, production was feeding these questions. That's the vibe I got. Okay. Chad, is showering Belinda with love. And it's like they're our least problematic couple. Maybe I don't know if it's because they're at a mature age, they've been married before. But I just, watching this episode and watching him just like shower her with love. What if when Pastor Cal called Belinda and said, hey, you want to go on the show too? She said no. What if she had said no? Because I don't think they would have met in regular circumstances. So it's only by chance, very much by chance, that Chad and Belinda met each other because of this show, because I don't think they would have ever met. And it was only the chance of her daughter applying and then Pastor Cal saying, hey, we got another slot. You want to pull up? You want to pull up? And she said yes. Okay. Now that's kind of like the gist of the beginning. We don't get into the couple, so I want to analyze some things. Okay. I want to analyze some things. And Derek and Megan decide it's too early on in the pregnancy. They don't really want to share with anybody that they're pregnant. They haven't even had a sonogram. They probably just found out she was pregnant 2 days ago. Okay. So they're like, yeah, let's not tell nobody. Okay. We're not going to tell nobody. But I want to get into first Josh and Jaylyn. Okay. I guess I ain't got no picture of Josh and Jaylyn. It's really hard to find photos of the cast. I really don't understand why it feels like this show was not as promoted. Okay. But let's get into Josh and Jaylyn. Now, we keep seeing them go back and forth about community. Okay. Let me break it down for y'all from a therapist. Okay. They have had two very different childhoods. She grew up with siblings, she grew up with community, she grew up with both her parents in the same house. Even if they really wasn't effing with each other, she grew up with both her parents. Josh, on the other hand, I think he only grew up with him and his grandmother. His mom was, doing her own thing, not in the best place. He just met his father. I can't quite figure, I don't think he has siblings through his mother or that he grew up with. So primarily it was him and his grandmother trying to survive. There was no money for Josh to be in these extracurricular activities that anchor people's childhoods. Playing baseball, being in cheerleading, okay, playing t-ball. We didn't have money for that. We were trying to survive. And unfortunately, some of the consequences of your parents, whoever you grew up with, not being able to have money for those things, you unfortunately don't grow up at times, depending on where you live, with a sense of community. You might get that sense of community from, the neighborhood kids where you grew up at, but I think for Josh, he did not. And I think that she did. And so far, the biggest gripe has been this sense of community. You know, quiet as it's kept, I feel like Josh is living a double life. Go where you gonna go with that statement, but I don't think that Josh is who he really is. I think because he has not had a sense of community, those anchors in childhood that most people have and grow up still having those friendships, relationships, and feeling like you belong, he is still trying to find himself. And you have someone going into a marriage who has no sense of who they are. They're trying to figure out who they are, where they fit in. And the only place I ever feel seen is at Burning Man, at these festivals. And I wonder because somebody brought up a good point in the comments that a lot of things that happen at Burning Man, nobody talks about. Okay. And I'm not saying everybody goes to Burning Man to do those taboo things, be amongst a subclass of people who, want to escape into a different side. Okay. The things you can get away with doing at Burning Man that you can't get away with doing in your regular life. Some of that spicy time and a bunch of people to your spicy time, engaging in some extracurricular substances. Okay. So it's interesting that he finds connection with a group of people who do things at times, because I'm not saying everybody, but the culture of Burning Man is to escape reality for, 4 to 5 days, be in the desert. Some people are doing things that they would never tell nobody about. Okay. And they keep it a secret to the once a year trip to Burning Man. And I get all that out my system and I have to go back into reality. But some folks go back into the closets, okay, and have all my secrets in there with me. So I don't feel like Josh is being his authentic self. And I think he has never found a place like Burning Man that allows him to be who he really is. All right. And so I want you guys to get a grip. I've heard people say he's gaslighting her. I personally feel like I saw a different side of Jaylyn this episode. Okay. When she was in the bed and they were trying to talk about community, what community means, in a way, I feel like Jaylyn's whole personality is cycling. Her whole personality is that community because she gets so offended and upset by him not seeing that those are my people. Even though you said while you was riding your bike, you a cyclist who doesn't use the gears on the bike. So are you really a cyclist teacher if you're not really putting yourself at the breaking point as much as you putting your class at by not using them gears? You just riding. Why the class you teaching is trying to struggle to get through them different gears. You telling them to use, but you not using them. Okay. Did y'all clock that when she said it? Okay. But during this conversation, I feel like I saw Jaylyn listen to rebuttal. Okay. When you are having a disagreement or talking to your partner, are you using active listening to rebuttal? Are you using listening because you're defensive, like Jaylyn? Or are you listening to figure out, okay, what does my partner need more of from me? And y'all gonna disagree because y'all already then put Josh in a box that he a gaslighter and all that. Okay. But I feel like Josh was listening to understand. And I feel like Jaylyn was listening to rebuttal. And she kept saying, "Oh, you talking over me, girl. You doing what you saying he doing." He's talking calmly, he's trying to understand you, but you are so caught up in the words and not hearing more deeper of what he's trying to say. And as I was also watching, I'm like, your daddy messed you up a little bit. Watching your parents argue, even though your parents were still together, they was arguing, your daddy was cheating on your mama, you been cheated on yourself. She's bringing in all that trauma from her father, her parental relationships, and her being cheated on. I feel like she does not, I don't know if she really feels seen outside of cycling, just like he does not feel seen outside of Burning Man. They're arguing over the same thing. And because she is in her head and he's trying to just people please, they're caught up in this loop. Okay. He's still trying to find himself, but I feel like you're saying what he was doing is wrong, but you are talking over him. He couldn't get in. Okay, get what he really wanted to say. And I just wonder about the relationship with her father, the relationship she's had with other men, how that really I don't want to say messed her up, but has impacted her. Because I'm seeing a side of you that y'all been pointing a finger so much at Josh, but Jaylyn got her issues too. Okay. And I just don't know if she's invested anymore. I feel like she has a wall up and that wall is there to stay. And I just don't feel like she's gonna say yes on decision day. The whole Burning Man thing, they seem to have moved away from the social media following the ex and now are just caught up in this community. Like, why is that such an impactful thing where you can't see past that y'all just not in the same place when it comes to community? He's trying to understand you, and he proves to me that he pays attention to you and that he sees you when they are riding those bikes. They take a bike ride, and he's imitating her being a cyclist. All the things that she tells her class to do, he's pretending to be her on the bike, and she's like, "Oh, you really do pay attention to me. You're really emulating me very well." He's invested and she has pulled away. Okay. But I think once again, there's a sense of not having community from him as a child, her having community, but still not being seen. That you can have all the people around you, can have a community, but still feel like, do you really see me? Okay. And I just think that the relationship with her parents, um, in a lot of ways kind of really, it really messed her up. All right. Now let's talk about Will and Brittany. I feel like in this picture, maybe it's the braids, but I feel like Brittany looks different in this photo than they actually on the show. Mr. Logical and Miss Hyperfixation. Okay. This is what we have. Like I've said, you have an anxious attachment style and you have somebody who is avoidant, someone who struggles with vulnerability, and somebody who needs a lot of reassurance in their relationship to make me feel like, okay, I'm wanted. So we see them in this pickleball loop. They go do pickleball with Megan and Derek, and things are kind of like not going well from the beginning because she keep hitting the ball out of whatever I don't really know pickleball, but the pickleball, is it called the kitchen or something? She keep hitting the ball further than where it's supposed to go. So she kind of sucks at pickleball. And things become quickly super awkward because she asked him, "Is there anything you feel like I can become better at?" And they start talking something about, if I remember, He asked her how she was feeling in the morning, and he could tell that she wasn't in the best mood this morning. He kind of brings that up. And she's like, "Okay, but I feel better now, but is there anything that I can do better?" He's like, not that I could think of right now." Okay. And she just laments, "Are you sure? Nothing? There's nothing I can work on. There's got to be something I can work on." He's like, "Not that I can think of right now. Like, I don't see nothing that you could work on." "Well, there's got to be something. I'm not, so you're just saying I'm perfect?" Yeah. As a therapist, I'm just like, oh, here we go with the overthinking stuck in your head, over analyzing everything he says. And Megan and Derek are just standing there like, this is pretty awkward. Like, should we let them finish? Do we kill the conversation? What's our role here? Because this is cringe. Okay, this is kind of awkward. So they continue to have this conversation. And eventually, Megan takes Brittany to go on a walk. They separate. Okay, they separate. And in the beginning of the conversation with Megan and Brittany, I'm like, can you give something, Megan? You're not really giving much in this conversation. Like, you're just sitting there, like, not really giving nothing. Okay, as Brittany starts to cry and she starts to say, she thinks that Will does not like her. I'm like, bruh, bro, I need you to get out your head. Okay. She needs a lot of just like reassurance that you like me. And I don't want to say unfortunately, I'm just going to say Will is different. Will heavily leans on logic. We even see, I believe it was more at the beginning where the men are outside, I think having some beers, and they ask like about "I love you" and has anybody said "I love you" and what does it mean and blah blah blah. And Will says, "Well, there are different types of love. There's the imago love, and there's this type of love." And Chad's like, "Here he go again, lean on logic. Will. Okay. Sometimes Will is his own worst enemy. Now, I once again want y'all to stop saying that he's Chris. He ain't Chris from Married at First Sight. He ain't a narcissist. Okay. Stop saying he's living on the spectrum. Okay. He has ASD. He's learning how to be what his wife needs him to be. Okay. He's not learning how to be a boyfriend. He's learning how to be a husband to a wife. All right. And so Will talks to Derek, and Derek is trying to help him understand some stuff about being a Leo. Also just how to say things and how sometimes the way you say things and your tone can really be misinterpreted. So he actually, to me, is giving some good advice. Okay, I'm like, one of y'all. And Derek is very much to me the sensical one out of Megan and him. Okay. So she started, they pan back to Brittany and Megan. Brittany is crying. She just feels like he doesn't like me. I'm not his person. Okay. Once again, the trauma from her past is coming back to play that I always have to do more. This always happens to me. What if he just really doesn't like me? And I've seen y'all also in other videos, comments, he just don't like her. He just don't like her. Y'all be getting on my nerves. Y'all really on my nerves. I can tell y'all have not been in healthy relationships. Y'all have not been in couples therapy. And y'all just be saying shit out of y'all asses to get people to watch y'all videos. Okay. Not really wanting people to learn, but y'all want people to subscribe. But what's the value y'all giving the people to stay? Nothing. Okay. But I feel like Will is somebody who needs to learn how to not lean on logical, understand his tone, and that maybe at times you are moody. Okay, you are moody. And I think he's a person who does not say, but his body shows his emotion. His body says a lot more than what his words do at times. And I think Brittany is picking up on that. Okay. Do I think it's that he doesn't like her? I don't think it's that. I think he's learning, and people, the audience are there, they are not giving him time to just learn. He's learning y'all how to be a husband in a very fast experience. Okay. Now they get back, and I believe Brittany was sitting with Belinda and then Jaylyn. Um, and I love how Belinda, the more mature person out of the whole group, once again is giving some valid, just like relax a little bit. Okay, relax. Belinda to me is a mature voice of reason. She's been married, she's raised kids, she's been a lot further than y'all have. Okay, and she's trying to help them understand where he's coming from. And, sometimes just, don't think about stuff too hard. Don't be in your head too much. But I think Will is trying to learn. Okay. Y'all are not giving him time to just learn. And I think Brittany has some trauma that she's bringing from other relationships. Um, but it's good to see them, have a moment in the bed about vulnerability. And he pulls her in. It's like, yes, this is what she wants. She wants the physical actions. She wants the words. She wants to hear, I like you. I want to be with you. Okay, they're being very vulnerable, asking, um, does she like him as a does he like her as a person? She needs to hear that more. Okay. And they talk about that, he says there's still something missing. Let me get one more of them. Okay. Let me get one more of them. What's missing? What is missing? I can't figure out what that thing is that is missing from us. You know what that thing is? Time. Time is missing. The emotional connection has not been built because we have not had enough time to get to know one another. The thing about this, you only have, what is it 8 weeks or something? Versus if I had met you and we had just been dating, it's a year later, I have had the time to grow you. I don't want to say grow you. I've had the time to just grow with you. And I think understand you, learn you. I'm having to learn you in quick to decide if I'm willing to spend the rest of my life with you, or at least say yes past decision day. Because we've seen couples be on and off past decision day, decision day, be on and off. Um, so I think they don't, that's the thing that's missing is time. There has not been enough time to build on us, to learn you, to learn what upsets you, to learn what you need from me. And so we see them just kind of throughout these episodes be in this loop, have good times, and then she leans on the overthinking about things. And that's where we end up. Okay, now I'm gonna get back to them when we get to the couples dinner. Um, we see like Rhonda and Paul. Oh, Rhonda. Rhonda is the problem. Now, her and Pat do not go on the retreat because she already had this family get together that they do annually. When they go to Marble Falls, and the family, everyone comes from their own lives, and we just we just come together, grandkids, everybody. We cut off regular lives. This is our annual trip. Okay, so Pat is coming on the trip, and so during this trip, she says Pat surprised her. He was selfishly thinking about himself, decided to surprise me with some tickets for a date. How dare he not check in with me first, not figure out my schedule? And I guess he says this while they're walking into a grocery store that he surprised her with a date, and she wants to have a serious conversation with him in a grocery store, while they're probably quickly trying to pick up some things and go back to the cabin or the property that they're staying at. Okay. I was trying to tell him how this really hurt me, and I feel like he's not listening once again. He doesn't listen and process what I'm saying. And as I'm talking to him, he just goes over to the cashier and asks, "Where's the gloves? Can you show me where gloves are?" Let me take a breath because, girl, you don't want no husband. You want a personal assistant with benefits. You don't want no husband. You've been by yourself and only having to answer to yourself for 25 years. You don't want no husband. You're exhausting and you need some therapy. Okay. Everything is just like a critique. He really should, be asking me before he does these things. We should share a calendar together. So if we share a calendar, then he knows what my schedule is. What more do you want from me? What more do you want from me? Because I give and give and give, and it's never enough. And she's like, "Well, he was frustrated after that." You're damn right he was frustrated. Okay, it's never enough. Rhonda has a lot of wounds from childhood, not feeling seen, not being chosen, and no one's ever going to be good enough. You know why? Because that father wound is so big that nobody can heal it. Nobody can come in and be what has been missing her entire life, which was her father. He was present, but he was not present with her. He was present with her sister. And so she carries that. I think looking for men to ultimately show up like her father should have and how she needed him to. And so we're just going to continue to see this. And if Pat decides to stay, he's going to be her latchkey, her personal assistant with benefits. And they haven't even talked. I haven't heard them talk about what is it going to be like with his mother needing care. Is he going to stay over there? You going to move the mama in? A lot of these couples are not having conversations past decision day. And that's a problem to me because I feel like we are so close. And has anyone really talked about that? Okay, has anybody really talked about that? No. Rhonda, you don't want no man. Just go on Indeed. Go somewhere and hire you a personal assistant, somebody to be your yes person. Okay. And then find somebody else on another website to be your spicy time assistant. They come in, they give you, they meet your needs, and then they go home. That's what she really need. Somebody she can call up, come on over, lay it down, and go back to her regular life. All right. And so as the episode goes on, the couples decide to prank, get back at Megan and Derek for pranking them. They do a water balloon fight. And then we get to this, I believe, couples dinner. Okay. And I think they're being fed more questions by production about where they are in their relationship. And then we get to Will once again and Brittany. Okay. Brittany is still very much upset from earlier. She hasn't moved past it because we're on a TV show, this is a production set, we have to keep going. And that to me is kind of the downfall of this evening. I think she needed some more time to just kind of sit with her feelings, maybe talk it out with him, maybe, hey, disappear. Have some time to myself so I can kind of woosah, regroup, maybe call my mama, call my sisters to help bring me back down to earth. Okay. But instead, probably while they were getting dressed, because her hair was curled, they decided to have this conversation, didn't have enough time to really settle into the conversation and really repair. And then now we got to get dressed and cameras are downstairs. Some of the fast paced aspects of this show, I think it creates chaos, probably on purpose. Okay. But I think if she had more time to process her feelings and have really a longer conversation, Instead of this quick. Some of y'all, when you are upset and your mind consumes you with these overactive thoughts, these hyperfixations, you probably need time to just like, okay, what's really happening right now versus what I'm feeling and what he's saying. My mind is telling me something that he does not like me, but he's telling me that he does. Now, let me sit down for a second and just sit with what my mind is telling me in his actions and his words. Has he shown me that he does not like me? Or is it more of my own stuff once again coming up that here you go again, girl, you going through the same shit. This always happens to me. I put myself out there and then they don't show up for me. And that's exactly what we hear her say in the bathroom when she decides, you know what? I'm gonna step away from this dinner and I gotta go to the bathroom. This time she really went to the bathroom. I guess it wasn't nowhere for her to really run to. Because remember before she said she don't take a shower and she didn't really go take a shower. But the couples are trying to help Will see from a different perspective and see how him saying something the way he says it as a woman, we may not hear it the same way. And trying to help him see what Brittany actually needs versus what your logic is giving her. She's not a logic person. I want to feel. I want to be fed with feeling. I want to be fed with words of affirmation. This is quick. This is a quick experience. And I just need the reassurance that you really do like me. Now, is she insecure in some ways? Yes. In some ways, we all are insecure in some ways. Okay. And so being an experience like this, it just puts a light on your insecurities. Okay. I need more of the experts. Get Pastor Cal on a Zoom call. Hell, in some ways, I feel like the experts should be in the house down the street. Pull on up in a golf cart. Go get them, roll them up to the door, and let's have some conversations. Let's have a mediator. But towards the end of the episode, we see Brittany leave the table. She's crying. She's emotional. She's trying not to cry. And she goes in the bathroom and she's crying. Okay. In some ways, I'm like, here we go again. Like, Will maybe go and like knock on the door. But then I'm like, maybe she needs space. But knowing Brittany, she don't want space. She wants him to chase her. And he doesn't do the chasing. That chase shit is kind of toxic. But in this moment, I think maybe if he had gone from the table and been like, oh, it's kind of been like a minute that she been in the bathroom. Maybe I should go see if she okay. But instead, Megan is that person who goes and knocks on the door and, are you okay, Brittany? Are you okay? And I wonder, going back to Will growing up, did we really see his father at the wedding? We saw his mother. We saw her mother and father. Where his daddy at? What were his examples of a man showing a woman love? These episodes are so long that maybe I missed the part about his father being at the wedding, but as a man growing up, what were your examples of your father treating women, treating your mother, treating your sisters? What was vulnerability like in your household? Because now as adults, we are now mirroring what we learned, what we didn't learn. So once again, going into a marriage, going into a relationship where you have not had examples, my love, you have not had examples. Look at me, Ayanla. Beloved, you have not had examples. Okay? And you need those examples of marriage, relationships, healthy examples. But beloved, we often have toxic ones, unhealthy ones, chaos, And oftentimes there was no room in our lives for vulnerability because our parents were just trying to survive. Okay. Some people grow up in households where they do have a lot of vulnerability, they do have a lot of love, they do have a lot of time for that, but that is also a luxury that a lot of people didn't grow up having. Okay. Having those things and seeing those things growing up is very much a luxury. Just like with Josh, being in basketball, being in football, those things are luxuries. And they're only going to become more luxuries as the economy takes a dive. You can't play football this season. I ain't got the money. You're going to have to let go of that travel team, your community, because I got laid off. And so we're going to see now the consequences of, and the children being the most vulnerable ones, they're going to be affected by these things. Okay, all the luxuries, all the things that didn't be all the things that were not seen as luxuries are quickly going to be gone. Okay, they're quickly going to be gone. That's kind of a trauma right there. A child losing, I've been playing basketball with the same kids since I was 5 and now I'm 13 and I can't play no more because my dad lost his job. My parents got divorced. Those are also traumas that people don't talk about. Okay. But I thought this episode was pretty good. I think I went over everything. I think the next couple episodes will probably be decision day, and then I think after these episodes, we're going to get the reunion, I believe. As I always say in all my videos at the end, bring back the after party. But you probably won't because you're on this Love is Blind trajectory, and they don't have that type of show on Netflix, an after party type thing. Okay, but there's a lot missing. We need context clues. I want to hear more as a therapist about some of these conversations. But it's just like it's so quick. Okay, it's so quick. And I think another thing missing this season is the fandom, the Marriott site fandom. Most people ain't got Peacock. They're not about to add another app. So the fandom was lost. And I wonder how long will Peacock keep this show before it returns back to Lifetime. Okay, but these are just my thoughts as a therapist. I, of course, want to hear from you guys. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe to the channel, join the membership. It's only $1. I appreciate your supports, and I'll see you in the next video. I still need to do that Rate of Love video. Okay, but enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye.